Hello again and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren and I'm happy to have you here, and I have really bad glare on my glasses. Oh my god. Okay, so we're just going to take those off. I thought I could get away with it, but I can't. I did another video earlier and it's in the process of uploading right now, and I thought I'd do a second video since I haven't done one in a while. And I was having issues with the lighting, so I thought I'd try to play with it a little bit. And the way this is, I look at the computer and I get the computer screen on my lens. Not good. Okay, so I'm hoping to keep this a little bit shorter. This one is actually going to be a tarot review, and I'm not going to do a lot of tarot reviews, but with this deck, I absolutely have to. I have to share this deck. Okay, this deck is phenomenal. Okay, let's just get right into it. Okay, and I'll talk as we go. All right, so it's by Uusi, I think. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. This way. So it comes in this little linen bag. Okay, I'm really not sure how to pronounce the name. So if any of you know how to pronounce that, there it is again. If any of you know how to pronounce that, please let me know. Okay, because I looked everywhere and that I could think of, and I can't find anything that tells you how to pronounce that word. And I'm kind of anal about that. I hate mispronouncing things. Hate it. Okay, so this is the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot. Okay, can you see that all right? Okay, so on the box it says Uusi and then just Pagan Otherworlds Tarot. And tarot is down here. It's really little. There we go. All right. So this, just the box alone is amazing. It is just a cardboard box. Okay, like it's not anything spectacular. And it's not like cardboard or anything, but it's the feel of it. Okay, like I can't get over it. Like, it's a gilded box. Okay, like all those gold lines, they're all gilded, and it's a textured box. Okay, so you can see a little bit of wear on the bottom there. I do keep it in the bag, but I also carry it in my purse. So it is definitely going to end up beat up. But I'll tell you something. I've had this deck for a few months now, and it barely shows, like the box barely shows anywhere from being in the bag. The bag is not dirty. It's not worn. It's not, it's in good shape. Okay, so I usually just put the whole box straight into the bag. I used to be one of those people that I had to have a bag for every deck. The deck would come out of the bag, out of the box it came in, it would go into a bag. Could be satin, could be cotton, didn't matter, as long as it was in some way matching the theme of the deck. So I had a green bag for an Irish deck, specifically my Fairy Wicca deck. I had, a black bag with pentacles on it for something else, and like it was just a thing that I did. I can't say I don't do that anymore, but I don't feel the need to with this deck. Okay, I feel like the box is part of the experience, and when you, like, if you were to order this deck and you were to touch the box, you would totally understand what I mean, because it's so hard to explain. Like, the box itself, I'm showing you again, is actually textured, and it is really, you can't really see it on there, but all those gold lines are slightly inset, and they're gilded, which I already mentioned. So it's like there's like a texture to it that I can't even explain, but it's absolutely beautiful. Okay, just the box itself, the amount of thought that went in to creating a box that was worthy of the deck is fantastic. Like, these guys really know what they're doing. I don't have any of their other decks, but I am seriously considering investing in them at some point, because the quality is insane. I absolutely adore this deck. Like, I can't stop touching it even after months of owning this deck. Okay, I think I received it in November, and it's now what, the middle of January, literally the middle of January. So I've had it for about 8 weeks, maybe 7 weeks, and I am still enthralled with this deck. Okay, I am always wanting to touch it, always wanting to carry it, always wanting to play with the cards. All right, that's not unusual for me because I like tarot. I've had several collections over the years that I've ended up not having anymore and then replacing, or rebuilding and then not having anymore. I'm down to about 10 decks right now, but I've had upwards of 60 at a time. And this deck is my favorite deck out of probably 100 different decks that I've owned. This deck is my favorite. Okay, and I swear it's not just the box. I swear. So when you have the box closed, because of course I opened it too soon, you can see there's this label here. Can you see that? I think that's 2 rabbits. And then there's this sticker up here, like you would find on a regular deck of playing cards when they were decent quality. And this one, it says published by Uusi, and it says Pagan Otherworlds. The future enters you, tarot cards, and the Roman numerals for 2019. Okay, so it's got this cute little sticker on here. So then you break the seal, and it's perforated so that it breaks that way. Okay, so it's just a tuck box. It's really not meant to be like a super fancy box, but it's meant to go with the deck. Okay, so when you open the flap on the inside, it says, can you see that? I can't get it to come into focus. So it says, let the future enter you, and then has the Uusi logo right there when you open the box. Okay, so we'll take the cards out. All right. And there's nothing really, there's nothing fancy inside the box. I had to look while I was thinking about it. Okay, so there are the cards. So the cards are, the backs of the cards are the same pattern as the box, but they're smooth instead of textured. Okay. They are, let me put those down for a second. They're nice and flexible, okay? But these are sturdy. You know the difference between a good deck of playing cards and tarot cards, where sometimes it just seems like the playing cards are better quality. They hold up to more shuffling, more handling, more everything. Where tarot cards, some of the cheaper decks especially, or the ones with the cheaper material, they chip or peel. I have a couple of decks where the picture layer has actually started to peel away. Dog-eared corners. I've had the corners of the decks actually split, where the layers of the card actually started to separate. These cards aren't doing that. All right, these cards look like I just took them out of the box for the first time. All right, they are a good size. Okay, they're not gilded here, but they are gilded a little bit on the backs. So those gold lines are still gilded, but they're not done in a way that raises the backs, which is good because they wouldn't slide right. These, like, look at this, okay? Like, I got 2 cards there, and they slide really nicely. They're slick, yes, but they're not glossy. Okay, they're more of a matte finish, but they are like just fantastic. Okay, now these are currently shuffled. They're not in order, so I'm not going to just bring you through all the images. What I am going to show you is a few of them, some of my favorites. Should have pulled them out before I did this, and I totally didn't, so we're just going to do it while we're talking here. And then I'm going to show you the extra cards, because this deck has 83 or 84 cards. Yeah, 84 cards. I'm just going to grab a sip of tea here. See this? All I want for Christmas is my letter to Hogwarts. I have to show this off. And then the other side. Yeah, my little Harry Potter mug. My girlfriend got me that for Christmas. I absolutely adore it. I use it all the time. I had to show it off. Okay, so let's get to the cards, shall we? Sorry, I totally had to share that with you, because like, it's the greatest mug ever. I love that it's the little chibi cartoon characters. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have like a favorite card in a deck, or a card that is like the deciding factor for you. I kind of do. All right, and I guess a lot of readers do, and I just happen to have a favorite card. This is not it. I'll tell you when we get to it. But this, I thought I'd show you the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, can you see that? Okay. I hope it comes in more clear on the video when it's done. I absolutely adore this card. Okay, you have, what is that? That's the deer over here. Okay, you got this way, the lion sitting up there. Right. And then on this side you have a bear. Okay. And then the wheel itself is just gorgeous. It's like, it's a beautiful card. Like I can't get away from it. While I have it out, this is the Ace of Wands. Now, isn't that beautiful? Like, the coloring is muted. It's not super bright and distracting. It's a nice color. They're well done. They're all hand painted canvases. They were all painted by I can't remember her name now. But they were all done individually. They're not computer images. They're all hand painted, like with oil paints, I believe. Like, just incredible. All right, so there's the Ace of Swords. Can you see that? Too much glare. There we go. It's a little better. Okay, so that's the Ace of Swords. Like, these are incredible, incredible cards. I'm looking for specific ones, I promise. All right, so there's the Judgment card. All right, like, isn't that beautiful? So these are done in like a more of a Renaissance style painting. They're very, very creative. And they really speak to me, and really, I don't know, they just trigger something in me so easily, and I just adore it. Okay, I'm going to show you guys this one. This is the Strength card. Now, if you're familiar with tarot, you know that the Strength card is typically a woman with a lion, right? This woman, there we go, has a bear. A big black bear. Right? And she's just kind of hanging over him, patting him, keeping him calm. Really, really showing that she has strength over him and can restrain his strength just by being gentle. And I think that's really vital for recognizing, what the cards are and how they work. So, All right, I'm going to show you, I'll show you this one. This is the King of Wands. He is very different from anything I've encountered before. I still, after, 25 or so years of working with the tarot, closer to 30 years working with the tarot, and I still struggle with the core cards, okay? But these are gorgeous. Like, the artwork is phenomenal, okay? So he's got a lion there, and he's just kind of hanging out. And that lion, he's literally just laying there. Like, he's got a rope around him that the king is holding on to, but he's not holding it tight. It's just loosely in his hand. Here's the death card. Okay, so a bit different from what you would normally encounter with a tarot deck, but absolutely beautiful. All right, so here we have the Queen of Swords. There we go. So pretty familiar pose, but her clothing is very different. I mean, she has a lion's pelt on her head as her hat. All right. So I'm still looking for that one card because, of course, it's going to be right at the very back of the deck. All right, so here's the High Priestess. So I like that there's not a lot to this card, that it's very simple. It doesn't use a lot of extra to show the meaning. Like, it uses your intuition. She's hiding her face. Why is she hiding her face? Well, by hiding her eyes, because that's what she's doing. Her eyes are almost completely covered. She's hiding parts of herself. You know what I mean? Like, she's got secrets. She's not sharing everything, but she has that knowledge. It's just not obvious. Right? You got to look a little deeper with that. Here we have the Fool. I love this card. Love it. He's got his little dog. He's standing at the edge of a cliff, and he's looking out over the distance like, oh my God, what is over there? I want to go see it. Like, it's great. Here's the Ace of Pentacles. Look at that pentacle, guys. Like, isn't that beautiful? Like, I absolutely adore that. It's just gorgeous. I just can't not. And we have the Page of Cups. So again, fairly similar pose for the page, but not dressed the same, kind of exuding his own bit of personality. He looks almost as though he's talking to his cup. He's talking to his emotions. He's connecting with his emotions. See how that works? Here we go. All right. So for me, that card that determines whether or not I'm going to be able to resonate with a deck or not is the Eight of Wands. Now, the reason for that is because all of the Eight of Wands that I've ever encountered have been pretty similar. Because, like, in the Rider-Waite and in the Robin Hood, in the most common decks, it's just 8 wands kind of flying across the screen, done in various forms. So it's a difficult one to kind of modify and make it a card that is more than just quick movement. Right? Because the Eight of Wands is about so much more than just things moving fast. Right? So this is the Eight of Wands in this deck. And yes, it's still, the 8 wands flying through the sky, but these ones, they look like they're coming down to earth. They look like they're moving in instead of moving out. Right? They're bringing something to you as opposed to taking something away. And I really like that. And the fact that they're all living branches, all of the wands in this deck are living branches. They all have leaves. It's beautiful. Okay. Just taking a quick look through these. I showed you the rest of the aces, so I'll show you this one. This is the Ace of Cups. Now, isn't that gorgeous? Like, I just love it. I really do. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of I should do one from each suit. So I've got Wands, Swords, Cups. I need Pentacles. So I'm going to show you one card from each suit to show you a little bit about what the minor arcana look like. We've covered some court cards. We've covered some majors. Now I just gotta find a card from the Pentacles. Here we go. This is a good one. All right. So I picked 4 cards that should be fairly familiar. Okay. So we're gonna start with Swords. So I chose the 3 of Swords. All right. Now, these cards are different in that they are kind of a crossover between your standard Rider-Waite version illustrated major or minor arcana and your basic pip cards. Okay, they kind of combine the two together. All right, so your 3 of Swords is still the 3 of Swords puncturing through that heart. Right, you see the storm clouds in the background. Okay, so then we look at the Wands, and I chose the 6 of Wands. So this is your victory card. So in a Rider-Waite deck, you see the man on the horse riding through the crowd, and he's holding a wand, and at the top of that wand is a victory laurel wreath. Sorry, that's hard to say. Did anybody else try that? Okay, so this is what it looks like in this deck. All right, so you see we have the pips representing, you know, the wands, but that victory wreath is up here on top of the wand, the same as it is in the traditional Rider-Waite. And then we also have this ribbon that winds its way through the wands, which is beautiful because it brings everything together and still gives you that sense of what the card means, but it's a simplistic image which allows your intuition to kind of take over. You know, like, what do you see there? Right? So here we have the cups. I went with the 6 of Cups, which is traditionally childhood and reminiscing and memories and stuff like that. Okay, so in this we have the 6 cups, and they're all acting as planters for different types of flowers and, you know, happy things, you know, like they're meant to be happy. So down here, this side, we have a horse, we have this little cottage in the background, you know, some trees here. Over this way there's some more, and they further back, so you get a sense of like a happy home, right? And if you know that it's about like childhood and reminiscing and memories, it kind of brings all that to the forefront, and it's like, hey, this is, you know, this is a good card, this is a positive thing. Maybe it's not for you, maybe you're stuck in the past, but you know, it still brings that essence of like happy memories forward without cluttering it up with a whole bunch of other things that in some instances like this one don't need to be there. So it's really, really fantastic. Okay, so the last minor arcana that I picked is the 5 of Pentacles. Okay, so we all know that the 5 of Pentacles is traditionally 2 beggars walking outside of a church. They're walking down the street and they get to the church, and the idea is that help is available if you ask for it, but it's talking about destitution and not reaching your potential and falling behind because you're not asking for the help that you need. Okay, so it's curious how they were going to portray that card. So what we have here is a very cold, very snowy background with these pentacles just kind of hanging there, like they just don't know where to go or what to do or whatever, right? And you just kind of see them, and you've got 2 that are attached to the tree and then 3 just kind of hanging out, right? And they're good. You know, okay, the pentacles aren't good, but I mean, like, the imagery works for the card. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to grab the other cards. Okay, So I pulled out the extra 6 cards. So like I said earlier, this particular deck has 84 cards. Okay. So there they are. Don't those look amazing? Like, how can you not love these cards? Like, sorry, I could gush literally all day. I love them so much. Okay, so I showed you the Fool card. So in some decks, the Fool is named the Seeker. And that's because the Fool is off on an adventure, right? He's starting something new and going off to see the world and all that. Okay, so this particular card has a Seeker card. And it's really, really, really cool imagery. You see this guy, put those down, this guy, whoop, this side, here, and he's kind of going through the atmosphere here and sticking his head up into all of these words this way. Sorry, guys. Right? You can see his head on this side right there. And then you've got the moon watching him up here. Okay? So those words, they talk about the deck. Right? It says hand lettering by Peter Dunham. Okay? So what they're talking about is at the bottom of these, they've got all this calligraphy. You see that? So that's the artist that did all of this. Okay? And then it says as well, artwork hand painted by Linnea. I can't read the rest of it. Okay? And each card has, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but in one corner there is an artist signature that was added to the original work. Let's see if I can make that clear enough. Nah, it's not really visible. I don't know, maybe it'll be visible when the video is done because it's really grainy to me, but when I play it back it's really clear. I don't get it. So anyways, this card is really unique. Now, I don't know how many of you use significator cards in your readings, but that's one of the purposes of the Seeker card, is to do a signifier. And then as you're, you can lay it, if you're doing like a Celtic cross spread, for example, you can put that card, like this card, into the center where you would normally put your first card, where you would put the significator. Okay? Signifier, significator, same idea. Okay? So that's one of the purposes of this card, is like representing the querent, who's asking the question. The Seeker is asking the question. The Seeker is seeking information. Okay? So there are several other purposes for this card. You can actually just shuffle it into the deck and use it in divination as well when you're reading the cards. I don't actually know what the meaning would be. I'd have to look it up. But that's one of the extra cards. The other ones go together. Okay. So I'm going to just put these back in order, and I will, whoops, is that order? Yes, it is. Okay. So one of them is going to be a bit difficult to see. So we have the new moon. We have a crescent moon. That is that's a waxing moon. Waxing crescent. The half moon. The other one must be a waning crescent, because this looks like a waxing moon. But if you turn it this way, you see. So really, these are completely reversible and cover all of the positions of the moon. So that's another crescent moon. And then this is the full moon. And this is the one that's hard to see. Right, if you, can you... I'm trying to... Oh, maybe? It sparkles, guys. It is not raised. It is completely smooth. It does not feel any different, but it sparkles. Okay? So on This card, for example, this part has those same sparkles. All right. The half moon, this way, it has sparkles. That little crescent has sparkles. All right. So literally, this is the only one that doesn't. Okay. So you can use them in a lot of different ways. In combination with the Seeker, you can actually use the 6 cards, the 6 extra cards, almost as like an oracle, that will tell you, because like each of the moon cards has a meaning. Like, we know the moon phases mean something, right? A full moon is a time of completion, and a new moon is, you know, the new beginnings or endings if it's the dark moon. You know what I mean? Like, each of those moon phases has something relative to it. So you can shuffle these up, you can mix them up however you want, and you can lay them out, and you can look at what that moon phase is bringing into your life. Okay? So there's one way to use them. The other way that you can use them is literally to shuffle these into the deck and use them just like regular tarot cards. Okay? But instead of looking at a definition of like what each of the moon phases looks like, they would add a timing element to your reading. So if you want to know when it's going to happen and you pull the full moon card, it'll happen on a full moon, right? But it could be it'll happen when things reach completion. So you kind of have to figure out, you know, what each of them would mean in the deck for yourself when you're reading with them. But that's what they are. So that, again, is the Uusi Pagan Otherworlds Tarot. Uusi. There we go. And I have owned, like I said earlier, I have owned over 100 different tarot decks. And this one is hands down the best quality that I have ever encountered. This one is my favorite. If I never owned another tarot deck my entire life, as long as I had this one, I would be happy. Okay? Like, I cannot express enough how gorgeous this deck is. I can't express enough how grateful I am that somebody has created a tarot deck that is so incredibly beautiful and functional at the same time, and it's going to stand up to a beating. And frankly, I need decks that are going to stand up to a beating because I shuffle them all the time, and I don't always overhand shuffle. Sometimes a lot of the time I riffle shuffle and then I'll overhand shuffle. I carry them in my purse all the time where they're getting banged around and beat up, and you know, I need a deck that's sturdy and that's going to hold up to abuse. And this deck does it. Okay, that's part of the reason why I waited so long to do a review of those cards, is because I wanted to see how they would hold up to being banged around in my purse for a few weeks. And frankly, they've done beautifully. Okay, now if I ever decided to take the deck out of the box and leave the box aside, I just put them into their own bag. That's upside down. Because I mean, it's big enough and it's a good sturdy bag. Right? I mean, I don't think it's linen. I think I said it was, but I don't think it is. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. I'm not good with that. I'm not a seamstress or anything, so I'm not really good with material. But anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope you've enjoyed the review. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. Like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you next time. Bye.